September 11th UK Family Support Group, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor as the United States Ambassador to the Court of St. James to welcome you to Grosvenor Square, this small outpost of America right here in the heart of London. This is a monument to the vital and enduring partnership between our two nations. That unique relationship was never more evident than in the days and weeks after September 11th. It was in this square that thousands of United Kingdom citizens, shocked and bewildered, but also defiant, came to show their solidarity, to pay their respects, and to sign the book of condolences. Looking back through the pages of that book recently, I was taken by one passage in particular. It was signed by John and Anne Hodgkins from Derby. It said, "There is no death while memories live, and their memories will live forever." Today we are gathered again in Grosvenor Square to remember once more those 67 men and women from the United Kingdom who perished on September 11th. To their loved ones, let me say that I am both honored and humbled to be standing before your memorial garden, a fitting and dignified memorial that allows all of us who pass it every day for contemplation and reflection. It's a place of tranquility. It's a place of beauty, a place far removed from the chaos and devastation we witnessed a decade ago. As we all recall where we were on that dreadful September day, the world, they said, would never be the same. In one sense, that's true. For those here remembering someone close, torn from you in the most brutal way, deprived of some of life's most treasured moments, 9/11, of course, has touched your life immeasurably. Yet, our societies are still strong. Our political institutions and justice systems still function. Our businesses still trade. Our citizens enjoy free speech and the right to practice the faith of their choice. Our commitment to universal rights and human dignity is undiminished. Far, far from being paralyzed with fear, we still focus daily on the ambitions and aspirations we hold for the families and ourselves. So the ultimate aim of the 9/11 attacks to destroy our way of life failed. It failed utterly. And such attacks on our values, wherever they take place, they will fail. We admire those of you here today who have reconstructed your lives from grief. We draw on your strength and on your inspiration, for example. But more importantly than anything today, we remember your mothers and fathers, your sisters and brothers, your daughters and sons, partners, and good friends. Just as we remember all of the victims who were so tragically lost on that day, September 11th. We will never, never forget. I ask you now to join me in 1 minute of silence dedicated to their memory. Thank you.
Everyone now seated. The Thorsby Colliery Band will play next Reunion and Finale. Every September the 11th is a harrowing day for those who mourn the 67 dead who are commemorated here, but then every day, or any day, the memories come flooding back. And during this music we'll hear from 3 people mourning: a father, a son, and a friend who shared their thoughts with us.
A great friend to have. He was the person I've known the longest in my life, and he was there for me whenever anything happened in my life that was important.
Dad was a real Brit. He was, I guess, a real Englishman in New York. He'd just broken his leg, so he was only just back at work after 2 weeks off.
Neil was involved with Dinah in organising a conference on the 106th floor of the North Tower.
He'd been there in the 93 bomb attack, and he'd always said to me, if anything remotely like that happens, it's going to be out. And obviously the first plane that went in was in the other tower. So I thought, well, if anything's happened, it'll be out by now.
The last contact I had with Gavin was on the Saturday before 9/11. He phoned me late in the afternoon to tell me that he was getting married, and the wedding was going to take place on the Isle of Lewis on the 14th of October. And actually, only a few weeks after the 14th of October, Gavin's body was brought back to Lewis, and that's where he's buried now.
I suppose one of the difficulties of trying to deal with their loss has always been, how did they die? Did they survive until the towers collapsed? Were they overcome by fumes? We shall never know the answer to that.
His body was found in a stairwell on the 2nd floor with a number of firemen, and so he had almost got out, and he'd been hit on the head by a block of masonry.
Well, Dad's body was never found, and I mean, there is always this, I wonder what happened to him, I wonder what he went through. So there is always that kind of not knowing, and that's sometimes strange to deal with.
I think I'm dealing with his loss better now, but there are still times when events, thoughts, films come back and bite me.
With the 10th anniversary, I kind of do feel like I want to draw a line now under a lot of what's happened, and in a sense move on, although 9/11 and the effects it's had will always stay. I do feel like I want to not let it define me as much as it has.
I will always feel the same loss, the same sadness that I've lost my son. I miss him more than I can really tell you.
10 years on, it's hard not to think of what Gavin would be doing now and the kind of life he would be having. But I feel now that Gavin's just a very important part of my life. I'm very glad that I knew him, that I had him in my life for such a long time, and I'm glad that I still have him to think about.
The loss of Neil was such a sudden and unexpected event that it has made me realise that
you had to live for today. Don't put off things which you might otherwise do, because events can overtake.
As the Thoresby Colliery Band finishes reunion and finale, Judi Dench will come and read from Christina Rossetti's poem Remember Me, the third time she's read it. For
Remember me when I am gone away, gone far away into the silent land, when you can no more hold me by the hand, nor I, half turned to go, yet turning stay. Remember me when no more day by day you tell me of our future that you planned. Only remember me. You understand, it will be late to counsel then or pray. Yet if you should forget me for a while, and afterwards remember, do not grieve. For if the darkness and corruption leave a vestige of the thoughts that once I had, better by far you should forget and smile than that you should remember and be sad.
Judi Dench first read that in Westminster Abbey in 2001 and again was invited back when this memorial garden in Grosvenor Square was opened in 2003. And now the person who was at the heart of instigating the garden, Clarke.
At this time, 10 years ago, we families were just beginning to realise that something terrible had happened in New York and Washington, and that our lives had changed forever. Since this garden was opened in 2003, we have met here to quietly reflect on bittersweet memories. We read our loved ones' names and place a white rose for them. We remember also the thousands of people all around the world who have also died in the name of 9/11. Last year, we met and discussed how we wished to mark this 10th anniversary. We all agreed that whatever we did, it would have to include being here in our garden. And one thing was very important to us. We wished to say thank you. Thank you to so many people. It would be impossible to name them all. Many of you here today have been invited in recognition of the help you have given us. You were hugely important in our early years, and we would not have come this far without you, and we will be forever grateful. For many of us, this 10th anniversary will mark a turning point, a time to try and look forward and not back at past bleak times. I would now like to invite His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales to speak.